Hey, today we're going to be talking about highlighting and contouring. If you don't know me, my name is Bear Campbell. I am a makeup and hair stylist. I am also a model, actor, and a creative, now a YouTuber. So if you want to follow me and subscribe for all things beauty related, then go ahead and do so. Today we're just going over the basics of highlighting and contouring. If you want to see something more advanced, something that I like to call corrective contouring, then definitely let me know if that's something that you would like to see. And let's get on with it. There's a lot that goes into highlighting and contouring. I think in a lot of the most popular videos, you'll see things like what I like to consider corrective contouring, where people are changing the appearance of their face to either look more symmetrical or look more like an ideal face shape, which in like the sciencey terms of like makeup and hair and all of that stuff, it's so subjective. But of course, you know, a lot of people are trying to achieve a more universal face shape, which is like the oval face shape. So you'll see a lot of times people are like heavily contouring their cheeks or their forehead, their jawline, their nose to make that sort of appearance. I think we all need to tip our hats to the community that really set this off, which of course is the theatrical community. So like drag makeup and performers obviously have a lot to do with that and why it is trending now. I do think that this trend is falling out a little bit as far as like the heavy contouring, and we're more so contouring just to get a more even and natural looking base, which I love. Corrective contouring is really fun for artsy fartsy looks, or if you want to really transform your face or do something a little more performative for film, TV, or stage. But for the everyday makeup wearer, I don't necessarily like to do corrective contouring. I just like to accentuate the features that are already there. If you want to know how to change up your features a little bit, then definitely let me know and I will try to make a video explaining that side of the world a little bit better. If you hear that, that's my cat Miko, and he is so anxious. I love him so much, but he gets like really bad separation anxiety. My husband is just out taking the trash out and he's like freaking out like he's not coming back. Miko, you want to be in a video? Okay, he found comfort underneath my chair, so he's just gonna hang out there. Hey babe, Miko was crying, like hysterically, and he got his balls and now he's hiding underneath my chair because you left.
Think I was gone for the day?
You left him.
Oh no. Our little redneck cat.
He has no teeth. Well, he has teeth, but barely. Okay, there he is. He wants to go back to Dad. Oh shit.
Ow.
It was worth it. I love you.
I love you too.
Okay, babe, we need quiet on set. I love you. I say I love you like I'm trying to film. I love you.
Love you. Go for freaking video.
One of the most important things about makeup is skin prep. So I first went in with Milk Makeup's Vegan Milk Moisturizer. I know there's a lot of debate in the makeup community about primers versus moisturizers, and I'm kind of weirdly in the middle. So there's definitely certain primers that don't work for certain skin types. Like, I feel like some are a little too synthetic, and if you haven't properly prepped the skin, like exfoliated and everything, you can sort of get weird dryness and patchiness with a primer that you wouldn't have gotten if you had just gone in with a moisturizer. But then there's the contrary, where some people really need a heavy primer like that. That way their makeup doesn't break up. So whatever works for you is whatever works for you. But for me, on my skin type, I am dry to normal, so I much prefer lighter weight primers and things that are a little more on the skincare side and a little less on the like pore filling or things of that nature. A primer that I really like is from Elemis. The Elemis Superfood Glow Priming Moisturizer is really soft. It's lightweight. It is very liquidy. It doesn't sit on top like some primers do, and it adds just a little bit of glow. I like a dewy, glowy finish in my look, and the glow isn't that obvious. So if you are going in with a lot of mattifying things, it's kind of good to add a little bit of glow right in the beginning. But of course, whatever your preference is. I always tell my clients to prep their skin before coming to see me if I'm going to be doing their makeup for a photo shoot or an event. How that would translate to normal life is to just keep up with the proper skincare routine. I feel like that is so important, and so many people are just looking for the right products and makeup to disguise all of their skin issues and aren't actually addressing them. Some of the big things that I say to prep before makeup is to make sure that you've properly exfoliated and moisturized. I think those are the really big ones, and then of course you can consult with an esthetician or a dermatologist about your other concerns. This product is an oldie but a goodie. It is Benefit's High Beam Liquid Highlighter, and I'm just going to go in and put this on the high points of my face. So it will be areas like the top of my cheekbones, my forehead area above the brow, like the nose, maybe a little bit above the lip, and that's just an aesthetic thing. The chin, believe it or not, I do want to bring that forward. If you're wondering what the high points of your face would be, you need to look at yourself with like even lighting and see where the light hits your face naturally, and then you can go in with makeup products or skincare products to really enhance that. What I like to do is just enhance what I've got. Of course, there is the corrective element of it too. Let me know if you want to see something more like that. I'm just blending this all in aggressively, of course. And for people that are more into the natural look, I really like using a liquid highlighter underneath my foundation or concealer products, because I already get that lift and that bounce, but it's not super obvious. And that way I don't feel like when I'm putting on a powder highlighter how it starts to get a little cakey or glittery or a little unnatural. So if you are more of like the chill makeup wearer, I would definitely suggest trying a liquid highlighter underneath your makeup, and you might have that glow without it looking too obvious. So moving on now, I'm gonna go in with my normal foundation. So I am using today the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Foundation Stick. This is the shade Y225, and I think I've said this in other videos, but it is a little bit warmer. The tone is a little bit warmer than my skin tone, so I end up fixing that later with my highlighting routine. So that's just something to keep in mind. I like this because it gives me more of my undertones, because I'm so weird. I am pale, but I still have some olive undertones, but it's not like strong enough to really call myself olive. But if I used a regular pink complexion things, then I feel washed out. So it's very hard for me to get the correct balance. So I just blended this all out with my Real Techniques Beauty Sponge. I like to sort of set as I go with a setting spray that isn't too heavy. So I really like the Morphe's Luminous Setting Spray to sort of set some of my liquid and cream products in between. That way I have something more luminous and blendable, but still setting in place so it doesn't move around as I'm blending. Moving on to contour, you have seen this in my videos before. This is Fenty Beauty's Concealer Stick, but I'm actually using this as a contour. So I'm going in with the shade Maple, and it's really important about placement for this. Again, there's corrective contouring, but I'm just doing what's natural on my face. So I will kind of poke around and feel my face and find areas that are sunken in. So you'll notice here, usually it's underneath the cheekbone, not quite the jaw, where you'll find a little bit of sunken in areas. And then I personally want to bring my forehead down just a little bit, as well as redefine all the features, because what happens when you put on foundation is you've sort of gotten rid of all of the dimension, all of the multiple colors in your face. So now you need to put them back in. That way your face ends up looking dimensional and not just flat, all one color. I'm going in right here underneath my cheekbones, and then adding a little bit of color at the forehead, not too far in, and just a little bit around the nose. All I'm really doing here is making sure my face ends up dimensional again and all of my features are present. It's just like painting. You want high points, low points, and mid points, and that makes a fantastic face. Now, a little bit of corrective contouring. I'm going in underneath the jawline to slim myself down a little bit. What you'll find is the darker the color, the more recessed and less obvious those areas are going to be. But they also add contrast to the areas you want to pronounce. And those things can be the mid-tone areas or the highest points of the face, like the cheekbones, the bridge of the nose, the brow bone area, anything that you want to come forward and to be more pronounced. That is what you'll highlight. So you'll notice how that contrast can make your face really special. Again, I'm just gonna blend this out with my beauty sponge. And when I'm blending this out, I'm not trying to move it all around. I'm just patting it in where I placed it. That way I don't make my face look muddy. I'm not bringing colors into areas that I don't want them to be in. To highlight and conceal, I'm going in with Tarte's Shape Tape Concealer. It is a tried and true brand for me. This is the shade 125 Fair. And this is where I sort of correct some of the undertones of my skin, as well as the slightly warm finish in my foundation. It is a little bit more on the neutral side. So I'm going to conceal the areas that I need to. Underneath my eyes is a big one. And then any spots that I have, I'll go in with that, as well as adding a little bit of lightness to bring it forward. Everyone's face is going to look a little bit different when it comes to this, but just know that you want to place it on the high points that you want to accentuate. So I'm adding some underneath my eye, close to my nose, and I want a little bit of lift, right? I want to accentuate this high point area here. So I will add some concealer there. The center of my forehead and down my nose, I would like to accentuate. I have a friend right here, so I'm going to cover that up at the same time. The chin. So you can kind of see as you're going in how you're transforming the face and making certain things more obvious, because your eye is going to be drawn to the lightest points first. That's what people are going to look at. So you want to sort of base your application around that. You want to sort of trick the eye into making your face a little lifted, so you can add a little bit of lift in the highlight there, and that will make people think your face is more lifted. Of course, if you don't want that effect, just put it right underneath the eyes and don't worry about the rest. Adding a little bit here, and that way you're just adding some consistency around the face, because if you only highlight it underneath the eyes, your under eye area will be really bright and nothing else. So you also want to think about balance when it comes to highlighting and contouring. Again, we're just going to blend that out with our Real Techniques beauty sponge. And now that we've worked that all in, you can go back and add anything that you feel like needs a little bit more definition. If you wanted to recontour some places, make that more obvious. If you feel like you need more concealer, you can go back in. This is sort of your checkpoint to see, is my face balanced? Is it built how I want to? Do I have a good high and mid and low point of the face? I feel pretty balanced here, so I'm gonna move on. And before I do that, I am gonna set this again with the Morphe Luminous Setting Spray. Depending on your preference and skin type, you can leave this alone and just set it and move on. You can add powder. You can define the face even more with powder instead of cream. I prefer cream because it's a little bit blendable. It sits in the skin. It looks more natural. But sometimes I do go back in with powder just to give it a little bit of an extra element, as well as adding in some different tones when it comes to bronzing or balancing the coloring with my eyeshadow. All right, I am back, and I added a little bit of a brow as well as some powder to set everything and make it just a little bit more defined, a little bit more dramatic. I went in with Benefit's Hula Light and a soft angled brush that's kind of small, and I just dipped in and I went right where I contoured, using that angle brush to sort of guide right on top underneath the cheekbone area, like so. I also went in and just dusted around the very top portions of my forehead, as well as getting a nice angle around my nose. I really like the angle brush for detailing around the nose because I can turn it like this, downwards I guess, and curl up and around the features of my nose. So that's what I did with that. And for blush, I went in with Lovecraft Beauty's blush. It actually doesn't have a shade on here. I'm so sorry, y'all, but I did get it in my Ipsy bag. And if you look at it, it's a really pretty color. It's kind of like a peachy taupe, I guess. It's very cool toned, but it still has a little bit of warmth to it, but it's not too pink. And with a little soft angled brush, again, I'm sitting this on top of where I did the contour, a little bit on it just for the blend, and then onto the cheekbone, but not all the way at the highest point, because I want to leave that blank, that way it can stay dramatic where my highlighter will sit. And I'm making sure that I'm keeping all of the powder and everything consistent with the way that I've placed all of my creams. That way I'm not deconstructing the illusion that I created. So I hope that helped everybody. And of course, you can go back in with a pop-in highlight. You can add whatever it is you want. You can build a look on top of this, but this is just a great base to get you started. I hope that you found a better understanding about adding more color to your face, about the simple and basic part of highlighting and contouring. You can stalk me on my social media. Everything is at Bear Campbell Beauty. I have a Facebook, Instagram, and a TikTok. I'm kind of scared of Twitter, so I am not on there yet, but maybe one day someone can convince me. Anyway, that is gonna do it for today's video. I hope you had an awesome time and that you learned something. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, you got him in the box for the video.
Emergency cat in a box.
This is Miko in a box. He loves boxes so much. He's honestly so chill, he'll let you do anything. Hi, baby. Hello. Thank you for that. It has to go in the video.